On Easter Sunday, we celebrate his glorious resurrection and proclaim, as Christians have done for nearly 2,000 years, he is risen. Through the pain and sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, we saw God's boundless love and devotion to all humanity. And in that moment of his resurrection, history was forever changed with the promise of everlasting life. As we approach this joyous Easter Sunday, I want to wish Christians everywhere a happy and beautiful and blessed holiday. America is a nation of believers. We need God. We want God. And with his help, we will make our nation stronger, safer, greater, and more prosperous, and much more united than ever before. Thank you to everyone, and have a really happy Easter.
All right, Bull Runners, welcome back to the channel. Happy Easter, guys. Happy Sunday, and God bless America. I thought this was a great way to start this video because over the past few years, the United States is becoming more godless. Children have been confused in school about their genders. The Bible has been taken out of schools, and regardless of your religion, whatever you believe, I think the core message here is universal. It's to get closer with God. And the further away that you get from God and the more divided that we get as a nation and as a globe, we just see more chaos. And so what I think Trump is doing is absolutely incredible. God saved him for a reason. Otherwise, he would have been assassinated. So I think the main thing that we need to focus on as a nation is what's going to be happening moving forward with the economy is going to be by the grace of God's hands. And people who put their faith in other people and things outside of God is not the highest form of truth. And the highest form of truth for you is going to come from your God. It's not going to come from me. It's not going to come from Trump. It's going to come from the Most High. And if you agree, give this video a like, because we have a lot to talk about over the next few minutes. Because in my video yesterday, we talked about how the Federal Reserve obliterated XRP holders over the past few months. And millennials that do not understand this are cooked next. And the goal is not to scare everybody, it's to prepare everybody by sharing the facts and sharing the truth. In fact, here's the truth here. Back in 2000, during the dot-com bubble boom, the S&P 500 crashed nearly 50% over the course of 763 days. And this was considered one of the worst crashes in history. This completely wiped out a lot of investors who bought between March of 2000, August of 2000, and even going all the way back to January and February of 1999, because they had to watch their portfolio bleed out 50% by September of 2002. And so for people that are brand new to the crypto market that invested into XRP on the 20th of January have seen their portfolio drop even larger than the S&P 500's crash during the dot-com bubble boom, over 52%. Not only that, but by October of 2007, when investors were putting money into the stock market right here, they saw their portfolio drop another 57% 500 days later. So what's happening in crypto right now is just as much, if not more, volatility than what's happened to the stock market during the subprime mortgage crash, the dot-com bubble boom, and what's about to happen moving forward will wipe out a lot of people. It's happened in the past and it will happen again. The real question is, though, did we experience the top of the stock market right here on the 18th of February? And are we going to see the market continue further to the downside? Because right now we're only down 13% at current levels, but with that drop, we were 21% down from the high. Or are we going to break out to make new all-time highs before an inevitable much bigger crash on the horizon? That's what we're going to discuss in this video, because the title of the video yesterday said the Federal Reserve. And as you guys know, the Federal Reserve's effective federal funds rate has been flat since January of 2025. Jerome Powell has come out in the FOMC meetings and said they're going to hold rates steady, meaning they're not raising rates, they're not cutting rates. They're keeping it the same, which is one of the main reasons Trump has initiated tariffs to get Jerome Powell to cut interest rates, because he said things like the European Central Bank has cut rates for the 7th time, and too late Jerome Powell, for the Fed, who is always too late and wrong, is not cutting rates. His goal is to get Jerome Powell to lower rates, because if Jerome Powell does not lower rates and the Fed does not switch from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, adding to their balance sheet, then it is going to be very difficult for cryptocurrencies like XRP, Bitcoin, Cardano, Solana, and the rest of the cryptocurrency industry to break out to the upside, because these markets move off of global liquidity. And if the Fed is tightening on their balance sheet, keeping interest rates higher for longer, and not listening to Trump in lowering rates, then it is going to be very difficult for the market to make a recovery to a new all-time high. But Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott just announced a major Bitcoin and crypto legislation to be passed by August that could potentially trigger a golden crypto summer. But will this be enough to cause a massive liquidity injection into the crypto market? And will we finally get the alt season that we have all been waiting for, similar to what happened back in 2017 or even 2021? For a massive explosion to the upside, back into price discovery for Bitcoin, and for Total 2 to break out and the rest of the altcoin market. So pay very close attention to this video. You guys are gonna absolutely love this. As always, if you're feeling bullish, if you're feeling blessed, comment 777. And if you're gonna become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it.
Biden administration and the Gensler at the SEC, they just didn't like crypto. What I've said very often is simply this: we must innovate before we regulate. That means allowing innovation to happen here at home in the digital asset space is critical to American economic dominance across the globe. The good news is President Trump is leading the way to a crypto revolution, starting here at the Banking Committee, and that's why we've moved very quickly the Genius Act, focusing on the crypto world. That's how you get things done. It's passed through my committee in a bipartisan fashion. Next, market structure on its way to be heard in the committee, marked up, and I believe passed into law by August.
So with the Genius Act and the Stable Act, both of these crypto bills that have been proposed have two very different, distinct approaches. The Genius Act that he was just referring to is regarding dual registration, more flexibility for smaller issuers, CEO sign-offs instead of audits, whereas the Stable Act is tighter federal control, monthly audits, criminal penalties for false reports, and focuses on who can issue. For example, in the Stable Act, insured depository institutions, non-banks, and state-qualified entities can issue, whereas the Genius Act is IDIS, and both of these do have some overlap. Either way, this is extremely bullish for the crypto industry because both of them exclude stablecoins from securities laws. And as you guys already know, Trump just flipped the switch on crypto by repealing the DeFi broker rule, opening the door for real utility tokens like XRP to breathe. So no more handcuffs on the entire DeFi space. And by July 14th, we're going to see the Fedwire fund service completely transition over to the new ISO 20022 messaging standard, which is very bullish for the ISO compliant cryptocurrencies like XRP, Stellar Lumens, HBAR, Algorand, Cardano, XDC, and a few others. And overall just bullish for the rest of the industry as well too. And so over the past day, we've seen a lot of projects rebound to the upside, but everyone wants to know, when will XRP and when will the other altcoins that are in the title of this video make a rebound to the upside? Because when the tides rise, so do all ships. And when we see a breakout in Bitcoin, that I'll get into the price chart in a little bit, we'll more than likely see a breakout in altcoins. So here's what we're looking at on the XRP price chart. Obviously, since January, we've seen a pullback of 52%, but the price has rebounded from that low on the 7th of April, and we're sitting at roughly $2.08 right now. And so when XRP saw this first initial rally up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish candles in a row, XRP topped out right here on the 2nd of December and experienced a quick pullback in the short term. And we also saw a bearish cross right here on the stochastic RSI on the weekly chart. And then we proceeded to see a bounce and a recovery for a higher high on the price chart by the 20th of January right here, whereas the stochastic RSI made a lower high on this indicator right here, which is a textbook bearish divergence. Now, bearish divergence just simply means that momentum has shifted over from bullish momentum to bearish momentum in the midterm, causing a lot of people to get out of the market the past 4 to 5 months. Now, if we look at where the stochastic RSI is at on the weekly chart, we are in oversold territory all the way down here at 5.5 and 4.4 for both the K line and the D line, which is actually a really good sign that XRP is due for a reversal to the upside. But right now, the trend is currently your friend, and XRP is in a downtrend, getting rejected, forming lower highs. And so far since the 3rd of February, this wick right here is a lower low. So we are currently in a falling wedge right now. So the main thing that we need to see for XRP for a trend reversal is a clearing of a recent local high. And ultimately, that would be about $3 in my opinion for XRP. The high right here from the 24th of February to the 3rd of March on that weekly candle close, which is pretty much exactly where this candle body close happened right here on the 27th of January before the tariff news hit the market and dropped XRP all the way down to $1.77. So this would be the zone right here that I personally would want to see XRP clear and hold as support for a macro reversal on the weekly charts. Otherwise, we're going to be in a downtrend or a ranging market. Even if we come all the way back up and we break this descending resistance and do something like this and we come into the zone and XRP gets rejected from it, we'd still technically be in a downtrend if you draw from this higher high right here on the 20th of January where the wick was at, or if you're drawing from the candle body closes, a ranging market. So for us to go back into an uptrend, we need to clear this zone of resistance right here. And in order for that to happen, we would need to see Bitcoin break out. Because looking at this chart right here, compared back to the last few bull market cycles, alt season only started when Bitcoin's dominance dropped. And currently looking at the Bitcoin dominance chart, we can see that Bitcoin's dominance is at 63.77%. So it's climbing higher and higher and higher. And looking at the stochastic RSI, the K line and the D line are at 198, pretty much as high as it can go. So at any moment now, I believe Bitcoin's dominance is going to top out over the next few weeks to the next few months, and we're going to see a rotation take place and eventually a bearish cross on the stochastic RSI. And when that happens and we confirm that bearish cross by passing below 80 right here for both the K line and the D line to confirm that bearish cross to the downside, then we'll see a great rotation take place. And that's what we saw happen all the way back here after the 28th of December. Now, we've been waiting for Bitcoin's dominance to drop for a while. A lot of people, myself included, thought that Bitcoin had topped out, at like 61%. When we saw this drop to 54%, we were going to consolidate right here before continuing to the downside. And we saw that bearish cross between the 28th of October and the 4th of November on the stochastic RSI, and it confirmed a bearish cross by dropping all the way down below 20. And if we pair this up with Total 2's chart, you can see at that exact same moment that Bitcoin formed a bearish cross on the weekly stochastic RSI, well, the Total 2, which is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, so the entire altcoin market, was right about here at about $888 billion. And we saw an explosion to the upside upwards of $1.67 trillion. So these two charts are inversely correlated. And what that means is when Bitcoin's dominance drops, we see liquidity flow out of Bitcoin and into either stable coins or altcoins. In this case, we saw a rotation into altcoins. And so what have we been seeing since the 2nd of December? Well, we've seen the entire altcoin market pull back rapidly. And this is actually one of the steepest pullbacks this entire bull run thus far, which tells me that we are due for a reversal and a bounce to the upside at some point after Bitcoin's dominance peaks out. And for further confluence here, you can see the stochastic RSI as well too for altcoins is at 10 right now and 6 for the K line and the D line. We just experienced a bullish cross below 20 in oversold conditions, and Bitcoin is getting ready to form a bearish cross on the weekly stochastic RSI above 80 because the K line's at 100, the D line's at 98. That's as high as we can possibly go over here on the left-hand side of the screen. So this is setting us up for an explosion for altcoins this summer, and you need to be ready for it. And the best way to be ready for it is to properly educate yourself on how to trade. So we just launched our Technical Analysis Essentials course inside of Altcoin Pro University that you can get access to through the link in the description below. You simply click the link, it'll take you to a page that looks like this. If you click one of the first links for our Altcoin Secrets ebook, it's free, it's easy to read, it's very practical, and it'll overall help you have a better understanding of the entire market to know how to time tops so that way you can hedge and to be able to buy bottoms so you can be able to spot when we're overvalued. On top of that, we're going to give you our top 23 secrets to become a crypto millionaire. Now, that's not a guarantee. That's just the secrets we've applied to do very well for ourselves. So you're going to be able to pinpoint the next explosive altcoins, time your entries and exits like a pro, build a bulletproof portfolio, and break free from the rat race by outsmarting the 99%. Because to join the 1% and become a wealthy crypto investor, you just got to know what the 1% are doing. So when you grab this free book, just put in your email right here, click send my free ebook so we know where to send it to. It'll take you to a page that looks just like this. You guys can watch the video right here that I just made for you explaining everything that Altcoin Pro University offers. And then you can simply join now. It's only $97 a month or $970 a year if you want to save $194 and unlock some exclusive bonuses. So you can check that out for yourself. But underneath the classroom right here, go through the Technical Analysis Essentials training, guys, because this teaches you everything that you need to know to have a foundation. Because think about it, if you're going to build a massive skyscraper, you have to have the foundation first. When you have a foundation, you understand everything about line charts, candlesticks, trading psychology, different bullish and bearish patterns. Then when you look at a chart, you can see these things like what I'm talking about right now. And then to further perfect your skills, what you want to do is attend our weekly Technical Analysis Tuesday calls. The next one is coming up April 22nd. You simply go to the calendar, you click this, and you're going to see the Zoom link right here that you guys can be able to jump on after you join Altcoin Pro University. Because when we look at the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart with Bitcoin sitting at $85,000, the bull run is still intact because we are still in an uptrend since the bear market lows. I mean, you could draw this trend line and you guys can simply see that we just bounced off of it right here. And also simultaneously, we bounced off of the recent high from the 11th of March. So Bitcoin could theoretically drop even lower and still be all right. The zone to watch for is anywhere between $74,000, even all the way back here. Bitcoin could technically drop back to the high of November 2021 and still be all right. That's $69,000. Where we get into the trouble zone is if Bitcoin dropped anywhere below $69,000. This would be the area right here that would be the major danger zone, because if we saw further liquidations and sell-offs to the downside and we broke below this level, then a major rally going into this summer, bringing us back to levels that where we are right now is where we would see a lot of sell pressure. And in my opinion, if something like this were to happen, then the bull market would pretty much be over. But I personally don't think that's going to happen. The uptrend is still intact. Bitcoin formed a bullish cross all the way down here below 20 on the weekly stochastic RSI. And I think we're going to see a recovery rally happen here in the short term. Now, it doesn't mean there's not going to be volatility on the hourly or the daily, because we're looking at the weekly chart. But just looking at total 2 right now, we're holding right above $837 billion. And we've been pulling back since the 2nd of December. So we have December, January, February, March, and pretty much 20 days into April. So nearly 5 months now of pulling back. So when we combine that with M2, Global Liquidity Index right here, and we pair that up with the chart right now, if we measure from the 30th of September when M2 peaked out right here to when total 2 peaked out, it was about 63 days of an offset. And so as you guys can see right here, since the 6th of January, look at what M2 did in yellow, this yellow chart at the top of the screen right here. It broke out. And so if we were to just measure from that point where it rebounded to where it's currently at right now, that's about 98 days. So if we just take the 63-day offset right here from where we're at right now, well, that brings us about to the 9th of June. If we take this out to like 90 days, or let's say 105 days, that brings us out to July. So could we see a massive pump going into May, June, or July? I think that's coming, because everybody knows that the markets just don't go down forever. We're not just going to keep bleeding out to zero, although anything's possible. But there's too much bullish fundamental news that's taking place from the administration making crypto more favorable, stablecoin regulation coming, you name it. We've just been in a liquidity crunch because Jerome Powell will not lower interest rates. But when that pivot comes, you best believe the sentiment is going to shift in the crypto market, and you have to be ready. So the same people that were praying for better entry points around December and saying, I'll buy when the markets dip lower, well, now that the markets are lower, those people have left the markets, and they're going to come back when the markets make a rebound, and they're going to be buying that recovery rally every single time. And then the elite of the world, the 1%, are going to be selling into that recovery rally, making money off new retail investors. So the key to separate yourself from those investors is to move independent from your emotions and learn how to read charts and look at the data. And that's why we created the Technical Analysis Essentials training. And if we look at the XRP, the US dollar price chart, with the stochastic RSI all the way down here at 5 and 4, that's actually great on the macro. And technically, we still could drop lower, and this uptrend would still be intact for XRP, because as you guys can see, the high all the way back here in 2021, if we measure from the candle body closes, is at roughly, $1.50, $1.60. Doesn't need to be 100% exact. And XRP could still even dip to like $1.34, which was the complacency stage high from the 9th of August all the way until the 8th of November of 2021. So that would be the zone that I'm watching for XRP to hold to still be all right. If Bitcoin dips even lower, then that's the zone that I would want to be accumulating more XRP, because I would expect a bounce from that zone, or a bounce from where we're at right now, one of the two. So we're going to be watching this zone like a hawk for XRP, depending on what happens with Bitcoin over the next few weeks. But overall, we're looking really good. Eventually, there will be a reversal to the upside on the stochastic RSI, and XRP will see a bounce from there. Now, looking at Solana's price chart to Tether, this has been comparable to what happened to the ETH to Bitcoin price chart, where you guys can see what happened during the bear market at the bottom of the screen right here. Ethereum underperformed Bitcoin all the way until the 2nd of September and then started the uptrend. Ethereum has just been getting obliterated compared to Bitcoin this bull run cycle thus far and bleeding out, whereas Bitcoin has held its own. Ethereum has drastically underperformed. And if we look at Solana to the US dollar price chart, we can see right here, the 1st of November, Solana was at $250, dropped all the way down here to about $8. Our Altcoin Pro team posted Solana in the group chat saying Solana is going to be one of the easiest trades of 2023. Sure enough, that was right at the bottom within like a few days, pretty much, since Solana bottomed out around $8-9 and then reversed to the upside. Very similar to what we saw happen to the ETH to the Bitcoin price chart, comes all the way back up to these previous levels over here. Just like Solana comes all the way up to these previous levels over here and has just struggled to break the previous high, has pretty much gone sideways and seen a major pullback recently, like what we saw happen to the ETH to the Bitcoin price chart right here. So the real question that everyone wants to know is, when Total 2 breaks out and Bitcoin's market cap dominance drops and we see the rotation into altcoins, where will that put Solana? We're going to need to watch it very closely because, in my opinion, if Solana, when it starts to break out, does not clear the high of the 13th of January, which is like $290, if it doesn't clear that and make a new all-time high, we could see this next relief rally be a failed rally, similar to what happened to the ETH to the Bitcoin price chart. And then as Ethereum just underperformed Bitcoin pretty much since that point, which was August of 2022, could that be what happens to Solana? So Solana needs to make a new all-time high in this recovery rally in order to invalidate this ETH to Bitcoin comparison. Because right now we've just experienced a bullish cross on Solana to the US dollar price chart, actually Solana to Tether's price chart, but the bullish cross is not confirmed because both the K line and the D line are below 20. It's at 17 and 9 right now. So we need to see these pass above 20, similar to what we saw all the way down here by July of 2020. You guys can see at the bottom of the screen when the stochastic RSI turned up from 20 and went all the way up here with this recovery rally by September of 2022. So with this recovery rally of Solana, I would expect the stochastic RSI to make a recovery back above 80 over the next few months. So depending on where that will put the price chart, we're just going to have to see. Nobody knows. It could be a lower high or it could be a higher high for Solana. Either way, I think a recovery is coming. And that also brings me to ADA to the US dollar price chart for Cardano. It's looking a lot like HBAR's chart that I covered in one of my previous videos yesterday, where all HBAR is doing is coming back to the previous high from February of 2024 until May of 2024 to test it as support. And also it was the support right here last bull run by June of 2021 before the double top that took place for Bitcoin and the rest of the market. So we're seeing the same thing happen for Cardano, where it's coming back down to backtest this zone right here, which was the high between the 11th of December 2023 to roughly March. It's not 100% exact, as you guys can see, these candle wicks right here above it, but it's within this range. So support and resistances don't move to exact levels, they go within ranges. And that's what's happening for HBAR on the right hand side of the screen and also for Cardano. Now, if Cardano bleeds further to the downside, the next range is roughly right around here within the 40 to 45 cent region. I would expect either a bounce from where we're at right now, or if we bleed to the downside, a bounce within the 40 cent region. The only major difference is the support right here back from April of 2021 until like February of 2022 during these levels was a little bit higher than where HBAR dropped to. The HBAR is currently at right now. So Cardano did break below that support in February. So eventually what I would expect is when Total 2 breaks out, I would expect there to be a bounce for Cardano as well too, to the upside alongside HBAR once we find a low here soon. And so overall, guys, the key to understand here is this: the entire altcoin market moves together, and the breakouts happen as Bitcoin's dominance drops because money either comes into the industry as a whole, and if not a lot of new money is coming into the industry as a whole, then it's musical chairs. Liquidity flows out of one project and it flows into others. And so Bitcoin is the liquidity hog here that has $1.6 trillion in terms of market cap, which is why it holds 62.9% of the entire industry. And Ethereum is number 2 at 7.2%. So with the market cap of the whole industry at $2.69 trillion, the main thing that's going to grow this industry is the Federal Reserve just getting back on the printing press, adding to their balance sheet, issuing quantitative easing, and just overall pumping more liquidity into the market so everything grows. Otherwise, we're just going to have to wait for Bitcoin's dominance to drop for liquidity to flow out of Bitcoin's market cap and into altcoins. So I think there's going to be a bounce for Bitcoin up to 90K, and then that's the next zone that we're going to see some selling pressure in. And if you're just getting into the markets, the number one thing that you can do is educate yourself on how to properly trade, which is why we created Altcoin Pro University for you, to give you the skills to pay the bills. But there also is another way that you can make money in crypto, by following other profitable traders. Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry, back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. And full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it.